If you're looking for the pulse of Tampa Bay sports, Beckles and Recher is the #1 source. The new guard, raising up the bar. Intelligent sports talk in your own backyard. Ain't no competition, ask the fans why. Beckles and Recher got it by a landslide. Don't fret, microphone check, stand by. Yo, Fox, where they at? Who my 2 favorite guys?
Here they go,
here they go,
here they go,
here they go,
here they go, here they go,
here they go,
here they go,
here they go,
here they go,
here they go,
here they go, here they go,
here they go.
I was told the woo is the cue by Mr. Tom Ponzo, so it's time for the Beckles and Recher podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think that intro, top 5 intros. Top 5 intros, for reals.
Top 2.
Okay, I'm telling you, that was nice. People actually knew it off by heart. My boy Mike Holloway knows off by heart. I know that
he
for a
does,
fact.
doesn't
Yes, he does. Welcome to the Beckles and Recher podcast, and we're going to have a good time. We're hanging out here at the Dignitary Cafe, and we'll be here for the next little while, spitting knowledge as we normally do. It is a Wednesday. Wednesday's my chill day. How's your Wednesday going, brother?
It's going well, thanks.
What you humping on?
I can't really tell. It's a family-friendly show.
Is it?
Nope.
You're the one cussing all the time with your potty mouth.
Am I the one that cusses all the time?
Yes. Go back to the film. Yes.
Does it stand out?
No. Okay. Tom Ponzo said no, but listen to me. This is my thing. Once I get behind this mic, my mind flips, and I try not to curse because I'm up behind the mic a lot. So I'm just scared that you're gonna curse in the podcast and then get on the radio, and you're not gonna be able to. You're gonna be like Jekyll and Hyde.
I don't know when the next time on the radio is.
You'll be back. You'll be back in one capacity or another.
Let's get right into that. Doing what I'm doing right now, I enjoy freedom of doing what the hell I want.
Am I in radio?
Dabble.
Am I in radio? Well, I could see you that way. Like I can see people still bringing you. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I'll ever go back to being
and listen,
radio.
Jay, I get it. Okay, because
freedom.
That word freedom is important.
Freedom.
We're in the Tampa Bay area, and whether you know it or not, there's not a lot of people making a living in radio in the Tampa Bay area. It's not many.
Thanks, Mike.
And they don't create radio jobs every day. So
we blame Mike Calta.
But you know what's funny? You know what's
Mike.
You know what's funny? You say that. I had a young man approach me, and he knows me through Martin Gramatica. I'm not going to say his name right now because maybe he doesn't want me to say his name, but he's involved with Martin and his radio broadcast stuff. And he contacted me about a month ago saying he was trying to purchase ESPN radio. And he hit me up yesterday and said, everything is done. I'll be contacting you in the next week or so. Trying to do some local radio within 2 weeks.
Whoa.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. I'm like, am I itching to get back in the radio? I'm not itching not to get back in the radio. Does that make sense?
Wait a second.
If somebody
say that again?
Yeah. He purchased
local sports radio?
Yeah. ESPN radio. He purchased
there's a different listen. It's one thing if you purchase the station and then you just play ESPN radio. That's one thing.
No, but big thing he said
but what I'm saying is
local wants local. Said that 100 times. He goes, anybody could put on
how many shows?
I don't know the answers to that. Because I said to him, and he said to me, you think is that something you're involved with? I go, not only would I like to be involved with it, I could put a team together right now with Smash anybody else in this. I'll put a team together right now, and I'm pretty confident in that.
Did that you did or he did?
I did.
Really?
I could put a sports radio team together right now. Smash folks, no doubt about that.
All right,
I know it
so
sounds
who is
good.
It?
Was what?
Who would you put? Who would be your team?
I've already talked to you about it.
No, I know, but who would you put? Who would be your roster?
I don't think I thought of that. You're definitely involved with it.
You didn't think about the teams necessarily?
Not really. No, just the people that I know. Rock Riley, Mark Royals, myself. There's so many talented people out there hungry and itching. And, not saying that the other station is not doing a great job, but I think it's going through a kind of a metamorphosis a little bit. And there's been a lot of changes. And maybe we need some new blood. So maybe in the next little while, you're going to hear some about ESPN radio and maybe getting involved.
So you're open to this?
Oh, very much so.
But it's got to be, you're a guy that's very particular. You at this stage of your life, and I don't think I'm out of pocket by saying this, it has to really fit your schedule.
How could it not?
Life. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, at this moment, you know what my schedule is?
Whatever the hell you want.
Whatever the hell I want to do.
But that's what I'm saying.
So I mean,
you're not getting up at 5 a.m. to do a 6 o'clock. Well,
why?
You're an early.
Why?
Rider. You're an early.
Why?
That's not a good thing.
I get to do my counter show, which starts at 6.
That's true.
So that's not the. I did listen, Jay. For a year and a little bit, I did a show with Slater on the Bone from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m.
You're an early riser.
That's what I'm. So
late.
there's no.
Not everybody's like that.
I understand it, but there's
like
no
that.
time of the day that I can't do radio.
Yeah, I'm not
if
a morning guy.
It makes sense to me. At this moment right now, I'm about branding Dignitary in this building and what we're trying to create. So I'm not really branding me. Okay, so if an opportunity comes up, there's ways around things. And I'm a businessman, and I'm a hustler, and I'm a collaborator. He's
talk. Not a businessman. He's a
businessman.
My
you got that right.
Damn. I've heard little murmurs about it.
Have you heard murmurs?
I've heard murmurs.
Okay.
I've actually had a couple of people reach out. Not that person in particular. The person that was kind of in charge of the entire thing. But
your name did come up.
Oh, it did.
I brought it up. I said Jay Recher as a guy that maybe you want to talk to them, because I was shocked you didn't get the other job in the other building, and I was told, not from you, from other people, you didn't want it. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I said I think you would have been great for that job.
Yeah, I would have.
I know.
But, well.
No, you can say that.
I probably would have done a decent job. But what it entails, the minutia.
Oh, it's a lot.
Not what I'm doing.
No, it's a lot.
Not what
for that much, a lot.
And when I was, even that, like, to still be involved would definitely be a cool thing. But for me, I look at it as I got into sports radio because I'm a sports guy, not a radio guy. Yeah. And I made that apparent very early on. We started there. I was doing some new stuff, and I was like, listen, man, I'm still coaching, because I was still coaching when I first started getting into radio. And I was like, I'd rather be on the field with our guy, Paulie Walnuts Russo, getting paid to do lessons, than be here sitting, watching a board while news talk is going on. That's not advancing my career in any way. And I was very upfront, and I think it helped. Some people don't always say things like that. You got to know where your limits are, and you got to. And I think you can do that if you're a person that's willing, when it's what you're doing, to go above and beyond. I was willing to show up early and stay late, but it's got to be something that was going to advance my career. Not everybody can do that, because we know some of our compatriots that didn't take that same route, and people were looking at them like, well, do you really want to fucking...
You see me as that guy?
Not at this start of your life.
No, but back in the day.
I don't know if I ever knew that.
100%.
I don't know if I ever knew that.
Well, you should have seen. You should have seen.
When I met you, you were already years into the Ron Meehan thing.
Absolutely.
So I think you get it to some point in your career.
Well, you know my mentality. Okay, when I first started radio, I started radio by somebody saying you'd be good at radio, and I never listened to it at the time. Had an audition, got it. Okay, so now I'm into radio. So regardless of what I do, I go in it full bore. Whether it's playing Madden, I'm watching videos. Like, I hate to be bad at something.
Right.
So at the beginning, all I was doing was hustling, grinding, doing every show I could, filling in as much as I could, doing as much emceeing as I could, and getting in front of a whole bunch of microphones. That's what I did. So as far as that, and I tell people this all the time, people in the industry, even to this day, I'll bring somebody in, like, I talk about collaboration almost every single day, okay? Because I think that's the key to success. I really do.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. So I sit down with people and I say, hey, let's create this. And they go, oh, well, okay, let's create it, but I'll have to be paid this much. And I'll say, well, nobody knows you, and you have to get paid. And I'm not talking about getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I like to go into something, and if we both succeed, we both make money. If we shit on ourselves,
everybody eats.
Like, everybody eats. That is a great mentality. I think that's been my mentality the whole way. And right now, if somebody said to me, Ian, we have a radio show for you, it starts at 4 a.m., I'll make it work. That's just the way I am. If it makes sense mentally, physically, business-wise, I'll get up at 3:30 in the morning, and I'll just kind of adjust the rest of my life, which is, schedule's done by me. Schedule's not done by anybody else. To me, I think that's freedom.
Yeah, it helps too when your kids are grown.
My kids are full-ass grown.
Full grown, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. And you kind of have everything in front of you of where you live and the cafe here. Mm-hmm. So you have the ability to move that schedule around.
Sure.
Shout out to everybody that's watching us right now on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like and subscribe button. Shout out to our guy, Chris Kren, the dynamic duo back at it. Let's go, Chris Kren. Former member of the USA Hockey. He was the writer for the Tampa Bay Lightning, now one of the main PR guys there. A great friend of the program. Chris Kren, awesome program, great guy. Lightning back on the practice rink today, which is kind of wild that half the team wasn't there. Head coach wasn't there.
That's a problem.
Because they're still in the Four Nations, so it's kind of like a little bit of a walkthrough. But you watched the Four Nations, and a great video put up by our guys here in the stash of the beginning of that game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I kind of lucked into it because shooter in the stash, I knew the game was going on, but hockey's not my thing at this moment. I got some other priorities. Well, they're like, hey, sit down. They're like, who do you want to win? I said, I want Canada to win. I really do want Canada to win. That's all we got left. I sit down in the middle, and I happened to watch the first 2 minutes of the hockey game with these guys. I wouldn't have seen it otherwise. I'm so happy they had me sit down.
Right.
Because I don't think I've ever seen 2 minutes of hockey like that. And I didn't get it.
I don't think anybody has.
I don't think there wasn't even any animosity. It was like, you know who was behind all this? You know who's behind it? Torts. Don Tortorella's behind this. I know he is. You're laughing. I'm not. Okay. Because as these guys are dropping gloves before, I go, that's Torts, man.
He's just yelling. You see him on the bench.
Torts is out of control.
Yelling. Well, it's the Kachucks. You remember their dad, Keith Kachuk?
Yeah.
He dropped the gloves with Claude Lemieux years ago. So both of his boys were like, hey, I'm getting down.
Yeah, man.
But what does that mean? And as somebody, as a former professional athlete, I'm bringing up this topic that not a lot of people are talking about. Right. The fact that Brady Tkachuk and Keith Tkachuk, or Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk fought, and they're top 6 forwards. Like, they're not only the guys that were scrapping, but they were also the guys that they score goals. Yeah. They fought guys. We love Brandon Hagel on the Lightning, but Sam Bennett, like, that's bottom 6 forwards. Yeah. So what do you think is the difference when you have a guy that is willing to fight, but he's also going to be able to score 40 goals? Because I think when your best players are also like your badasses, I think it's hard. Even if you're a team that has a Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, it's hard to beat that guy because he shows that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
I think, believe it or not, this had something to do with their nationality.
Well, I think part of that with the national anthem.
No, there's no doubt about it. It's a national anthem thing. And I also think it has a lot to do with United States hockey, okay? When has United States hockey been above Canada hockey? And not that often.
If they win tomorrow.
Oh, agreed. But when I say U.S. hockey, it has to mean something. It's never really meant something, but maybe that's them saying this means something. We can play hockey. We can throw hands. We'll beat your ass. We'll score goals. That's the new U.S. hockey. If I say Russian hockey or, European hockey, it has a different sense, and it's not that. It's not fighting, and, it's not the same. Maybe that's them saying, this is the new U.S. hockey. This is the way we do things. I just have to say it worked. I have to say it worked. Yeah. If you do that and you won the game going away. Won that game going away. So the game's going to be interesting tomorrow. I'll be watching.
We will be here tomorrow night at the Dignitary Cafe. Our guy Shooter and the Stash will be here as well. We'll have like a live watch along.
On the big screen.
On the big screen with some big scrimps if you want to bring them by.
In mind.
So we're announcing it now here. So if you guys want to show up, I think we can get a nice little attendee. If people come watch the hockey game, because I don't know where many people are going to watch it, but it was intense. I was at a party Saturday night, and people yelling at the screen, like that 60 minutes of physicality, and it starts with 3 fights in 9 seconds. It doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, I think if the U.S. wins tomorrow, that's a big stamp in the ground because they've won the last 2 World Juniors. And when you go and look at the situation that U.S. hockey is in, that's what soccer needs to do. They started the U.S. men's developmental program so that these young kids are playing together at a very young age. And if they can do that, watch out.
Yeah, I think soccer and hockey are in different. Okay, soccer been trying, and I don't see the difference. Okay, hockey I can see the difference.
But that's what I'm saying. They're going to need to do what hoky's done.
But I don't know if soccer can. I just don't. I just don't.
But you see, like these kids, they join up Tottenham when they're like 7, Ian, and they go to the academy.
That's not here.
But that's what hockey's. That's what I'm saying. There's a proof of concept. We've been wondering what is it going to take for the U.S. to get to that level. Well, hockey just showed them. Hockey showed them the blueprint. And around the world, soccer is more popular than anything.
It's not close.
It's not close.
No.
So if soccer can take, and I think this may help in a weird roundabout kind of way, This may help soccer in the long run going, look at what hockey just did. And if you win this game tomorrow night, you plant your flag in the ground as the best team in the nation.
Every 2 years.
I think we look at it because of we have such phenomenal athletes. I think it's always a drawback because we had fun a couple of years ago trying to come up with an all-11 soccer team with non-soccer players. I mean, you look at it, some of these other countries, their best athletes are going to play soccer,
Period.
no doubt.
Period.
Right? We don't have – just think about our soccer team. If we had all the guys – and let's just go back like 10 years ago. And we had, all right, well, up front, we got LeBron James, Mike Trout, and Odell Beckham Jr., like, right? I mean, nobody's stopping us if those kids were playing soccer at 5 years old, growing all the way up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly those guys, but those type of athletes, they're not playing soccer. They're going to play these other sports.
It's not close, though.
But you have to get them young.
Okay, but here's we go. Here, watch me. Argentina, soccer number one. Easily, right? Let's stop me when soccer is supposed to be slotted. Baseball, hockey, basketball, football, MMA.
That's right
tennis.
there. I think it's right there at 5.
Tennis?
5 and 6.
Tennis is more popular than
but we don't have that many great
nobody
players
goes
in
to
tennis.
nobody knows.
We don't have that many great players in tennis.
No, I understand that, but I don't think athletes in the United States, and I had this discussion with somebody, I said it's different in a different country. If you're in Argentina and you're a great athlete, you become a soccer player.
Right.
Well, me and Tom were talking about that. If you're in the United States and you're a great athlete, you have zero chance of becoming a soccer player. Zero. Because in your high school, the girls weren't going to see soccer. They were going to see football and basketball and baseball and everything else but soccer. Indiana is top-notch soccer. I never met an Indiana soccer player. I never heard anybody saying they're going to a soccer game. I didn't know where the stadium was. And listen, I'm not a soccer person, but I know where the basketball stadium was. I was meeting the players all the time. So soccer has been around forever. Every one of my kids played soccer. I think every kid that grows up plays soccer.
In the beginning,
but then they make a decision, and it's mostly to leave soccer. And I didn't make up the rules, unfortunate. I think we always want soccer to be elevated in the United States. I just don't ever see it happening. I don't see it happening.
I think now, because there's a proof of concept, I think there hasn't been any type of rhyme or reason, because what we have in this country is more options than everybody else, right? And I think football is the direct, is just the sport because it is the most popular sport. I wonder if it'd be different if other sports were the most popular sport. Because,
What do you mean?
Like, football's home. You couldn't do a U.S. against the world for professional football.
Oh, they
Right?
beat up everybody. It might beat up everybody's all-star team.
But when you look at baseball and you look at the islands in the Caribbean, right? When you look at Japan, like big baseball-centric cities and countries, right? In East Asia and in South America, Central America. You could say the same thing about basketball. I mean, you could thank the Dream Team about how popular basketball has become in Europe, right? What about if football wasn't as popular, right? Because there's so many people out there, and you take from so many different backgrounds. You can have a big country guy from Iowa that's your offensive lineman, then you can have a kid from the inner city that can run a 4.40. If football wasn't as popular, I think some of those athletes would have maybe more of an inkling to play soccer because it would be another option, right?
No doubt.
So,
but how much more popular is football than soccer? And that's the issue.
But
that's the issue.
But that's just in our country, though.
No,
When you look around the world,
No, I understand.
it's not
We're saying the same thing.
So what would it have to take? And I understand what you're saying. It doesn't look like it's possible. But if it were to be possible,
it's not.
I think it is. I think it's impossible to think that.
I think it's in the same way that Indiana has a great football season. We're gonna say Indiana's a football team, football school. It'll never. It's just the lineage is too deep. Okay, Florida won 2 national championships in basketball, and then people still don't go to their games. They're not a basketball school. They're a football. They could be 5-12, and everybody wants to go watch their football. The lineage is so deep with football. Nobody's grandfather talks about soccer. Nobody's, unless they're European. So it's impossible to catch up.
But what's happening to our country?
What do you mean, other than this?
What is happening to our country as far as more people coming in to our country, right? This guy went straight Elon on me. Straight Elon. And that wasn't even a good one.
Well, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't read the manual. Can you do it perfect? Hey, Jay, show us how it's done, Jay. Since you read the manual and whatnot. Show me. Was my hat? Is it?
Turn it.
Turn like this?
No, now you're doing the princess
This one?
wave.
This one. Man, you're good at it. Well, you must
Princess
practice
wave.
in the mirror.
That's
You practicing in the mirror?
How would you know how it looked?
You and Elon in the mirror.
You and Elon in the mirror. That's the missing part of the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's Elon and you in the mirror.
Everybody said it's okay, though. Everybody said it was okay. Relax.
Said it was okay.
A lot of people said it was okay.
Who do you think said it was okay?
A lot of people said it was okay.
It was okay.
You said it was okay.
I say it was okay.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
It was perfectly inappropriate.
We good. You see, it's
perfectly inappropriate.
I felt better when I heard. I felt better when I heard Elon's father apologize or not.
He didn't apologize.
Please. He was like he like almost he was a couple degrees off. You know what I'm saying? Like what he didn't say was that's not what he was doing. Elon never said that's not what I was doing. Never. Not at one time.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, find it.
Go look it up.
Find it.
Elon said he didn't do it.
I don't think he said that.
What if I find it?
Go find it.
Find it right.
Because he didn't say it.
He didn't say.
He didn't say no.
He didn't say that it wasn't the Nazi salute.
He never said that. He might have said something a roundabout way, but he never said that's not what I was doing. Because then he would lose his people. Trump never talks bad about the Lost Boys or whatever the hell their names are. They never. Because he was it Lost Boys? What's the name of them? Proud Boys. I don't know.
You know exactly.
That's not my people's though.
He's like, we're talking Vampire Boys, Lost Boys, wonderful.
You ever hear him talk bad about them? Find it. Find it. Become a political show. We a political show now? Are you against me smoking?
What is that? Going to do lightning after this.
Hey, go ahead. Oh, good, man. You smell like pine cones. That.
Let's talk about NBA All-Star Week because
let's do it.
It's so funny. I was talking about this on my podcast on Monday, and this guy was like, "Oh, you're just crapping all over the NBA. That's what happens is when people don't like the NBA." I'm like,
first of all, you do like the NBA.
I love the
yeah,
NBA.
you do. Yeah,
and
you do.
the reason why I love the NBA is because like my dad was a phenomenal basketball player. Like he was that guy. Have you seen those trick shots on
Your dad?
Instagram?
Your dad?
No, have you seen those tricks? I'll get back to that in a second. Have you seen the Instagram trick shots with the dad in the parking lot, in the driveway? No. I'm going to send it to you. There's a dad, like, he's a mid guy.
He can't mess with Brad Johnson.
It's just like it, but he does it against his sons. It's
Really?
amazing. He goes out there, little hefty guy. Yeah. He's in his late 40s, early 50s. And he's like, what are y'all doing out here? And he just goes out there and he's doing like these crazy left just like what Brad does.
But Brad is silly, though.
Brad's an elite level athlete, though.
A savant.
An amazing.
Like
amazing
I don't use the word savant much. He does stuff on video. Somebody goes, that wasn't one take, and I go, I'll give you 1,000 takes who can't do that. To throw a football across a basketball court and swish it in a basketball net, I'll give you 1,000 tries. You're not making that.
It's amazing. Amazing. But you got to watch this. I'll send it to you. And I'm sure a lot of people out there know what we're talking about, the Instagram with the dad in the driveway. And he's like living in like upstate New York or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
I like to see big fat guys at like the
kind of like that
at hyper buildings and at different basketball places just eating up cats.
That's what he does.
I love to see that. Dudes, I got this dude. Dude just bouncing off of dude.
Crushing it. So obviously basketball is big for us. We love it. And I'm hyped that the Knicks are finally worth something. After being terrible for so long.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, it's more interesting to watch them than they're good. Everybody's more interested in basketball.
Like the Knicks? That's not true.
Everybody's more interested in basketball.
That's something that Knicks fans say, just like Cowboy fans. Nobody likes y'all.
More people pay attention to the games when big teams like that are in it. Why? Why?
Because they hate you.
Because you want to see them what? Lose.
Because they hate you. It's just
That's
like
part
the
of
Dallas Cowboys.
Whether you do,
no, I know.
You can admit it or not.
We're saying the same thing.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
You're saying people don't care. They do care. They want to see them lose.
Because they hate them, that's why.
Okay, but it's not, you can't say they don't care about them. They do care. They care to see them lose.
You put the Yankees in that category
100%. 100%.
And the Cowboys and the Lakers.
100%.
It's a respect
thing. Duke and Alabama
It's a respect thing.
100%.
Nobody.
I wouldn't say they don't care. They care to see them lose. You know what people love just as much as seeing their team win? Seeing their most hated team lose. I know. Almost even more.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe even more. They don't care was not the right thing. I should have said.
Sonny makes often. Here we go. But
Is that childish?
it was very childish. So with the NBA All-Star Weekend, like Saturday night, I've never been more disinterested in what was going on with the dunk contest and the three-point competition. In comparison, yes, because the NHL or the Four Nations was going on, but it's like Mac McClung, who's an incredibly talented dunker of the basketball. You're telling me that one of the most important things all weekend to draw eyeballs to your product, the guy that you're banking on winning is a guy that's not even in the NBA.
Just for that?
No, he plays for the Osceola Magic. He's in the
Okay, but it's not the NBA. But
in the G League.
Then they said they signed a one-day contract.
I think
he
signed a contract last year. Like he's not a bad player, but he's not an NBA player.
That looks terrible. It looks terrible.
That
looks terrible.
LeBron pulls out the day of the game. Okay, that's not good either.
He pulled out of the All-Star game?
The day of the game. And then Draymond Green is on the broadcast for TNT saying the game is boring. One of the teams involved in the All-Star game was a Rising Stars team. These guys play very little defense. They care very little. And you're going up against Saturday Night Live on Saturday. Yeah. Saturday, you're going against the Four Nations. Sunday, you're going against Saturday Night Live. Just another wrinkle into the plan. But the product, All-Star Weekend, is just, just all these breaks during the All-Star game. Kevin Hart's on a microphone talking shit to Shaq and all these. Like, what are we even doing here? Show me an All-Star Weekend where your best shooters, Steph Curry's going against Dame Lillard and Klay Thompson and all these guys. Show me a dunk contest when there's actual names and All-Stars involved. And show me an All-Star game where these guys give a shit. Like, that's the only way you're going to get people invested in the product. Players don't care, Ian. Why should the fans? And the ratings for the NBA are going down, down, down. Stuff like that. And especially when Draymond, one of your most recognizable faces, he himself, who's made hundreds of millions of dollars playing basketball, is complaining about the product. I mean, come on, man. This isn't hating. This is just facts.
I think Draymond will probably have a job afterward. People you don't expect to get the jobs always get them. I think basketball's not that different than a lot of the other sports. Think of the other All-Star game, the baseball All-Star game. A lot of times you don't get home run.
But better though. I mean, but that's the thing. Otani's been in. Look at the last 5 years. You've seen Otani in it. Sure. You've seen Aaron Judge in it. You've seen Giancarlo Stanton in it. You've seen Bryce Harper in it. You've seen Betts. You've seen Julio Rodriguez. You've seen all the big names. You don't see anything near that in the slam dunk competition. And the problem is that LeBron set the tone early on in his career when he didn't enter into the slam dunk competition. It's almost like that thing when school, when nobody wanted to give effort because it was too, it was cool not to care. That's what LeBron has done to the NBA. Phenomenal athlete, top 3 player of all time, no doubt about it. But he's almost made it cool not to care when it comes to situations like that. And there's your trickle-down effect. You don't see a bunch of guys signing up for these competitions. And again, if you are producing a product and you're trying to get people to invest time, money, and energy, if you don't care, why the hell should I?
Unfortunately, I think that is global now.
Right? Exactly.
Well, go back to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, when people compare Michael Jordan and LeBron James, it makes sense, the comparison. It really does. They're not the same animal, people. Michael Jordan had to create himself. LeBron was created. LeBron was created out of high school. He came out of high school with a Nike contract. Like he couldn't, other than him not playing well, he couldn't lose. Michael Jordan had to create himself. Like the dunk contest and all the jumping from the foul, that was part of his lore. LeBron didn't have to do that. And I think he had an easier path. And I think it's like that in a lot of sports now because there's different avenues to get exposure, social media, different things. Well, Mike had to grind. You know what I mean? Mike had to do it the hard way. That's not happening anymore. These athletes today, they don't care about their leagues, I don't think. It doesn't feel that way. And I get it because the leagues don't care about the athlete either. But back in the day,
still making hundreds of millions of dollars.
There's no doubt about that.
It's different. I understand what you're saying. I think it's way different in football than any other sports. I don't think they care enough. You can't tell me that Adam Silver doesn't care about his players. That guy has gone far and beyond And whether you agree or disagree,
Sure, yeah.
He's politicized the sport, which I think has rubbed people the wrong way. He's given these guys carte blanche and what they want to do to try to make the sport better, and it's backfired on them. So when you look at the NBA product and you're like, how are you drawing new fans in? Because you have these guys that just don't think about those slam dunk competitions that you just mentioned. Names were big. I mean, you had Spud Webb, right? Which was he was such an enigma for being such a small guy.
So much for him.
So much for him. Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan.
What did it do for old boy that just won? I mean, he's not going to get anything out of it. You know what I mean?
Course,
What's he going to get?
People already know. But even look into the '90s, you go farther into there, right? Like you look at a guy like Vince Carter. You look at Jason Richardson. You look at some of these guys that were first-round picks, bigger names. In the last couple of years, other than what Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon and those guys, what they were doing, like it was great. But if that's your top level, Blake Griffin did it, Dwight Howard did it, but you're not getting a star-studded affair when it comes to things like that. I wish it was different. I really do. I wish the NBA took a more sensible approach on how to grow their product instead of.
They can't make athletes do.
No, you can't because the NBA has given so much power to their players that they're in trouble right now because now
I think
a lot of the conversation now is the next big face of basketball. Bron's getting older. Steph is getting older, right? Is it going to be one of these international superstars? Because you look at Anthony Edwards, he came out the other day and says, I don't want to be the face of the NBA. Not. He's a guy. I like the Anthony Edwards style. I like guys that are like, no F you. I don't like all the lovey-dovey crap, nice. Like, I like a guy that's got a little snarl to his game. I like that about Anthony Edwards. But who's going to step up? Jokic doesn't necessarily love the game. You know he's going to get as far away from the NBA as possible when he's done. Giannis, okay. Luka, maybe, right? But they're all international stars. And we saw this with Anderson Silva in the UFC. When you don't have a homegrown American star, heavyweight boxing, right? Why was everybody so interested in Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury? Wilder would have been the first guy that we looked at as the American heavyweight champ since like the Holyfield Tyson days, right? I mean, maybe looking at Roy Jones and Tarver and those guys,
not the same,
but it's not the same, right? We're talking
different.
Big guys. Yeah. But I think we're looking in that same aspect for basketball, like the new face. Who's going to be the guy to lead this into the next generation? Don't know. I think they're still asking themselves that same question.
The basketball players have. I'm going to say this: athletes have control. That's changed. That's changed. I mean, back when I played, if an athlete didn't like something, they'll tell him to sit on the bench or go be quiet. That's changed. To me, athletes clearly have the power in every sport. If you don't like look what happens, okay? I don't like it here. Gotta go. If you all a football player has to say is, I don't like it here. And he'll go somewhere else. Like Tyreek Hill, I think he'd come back and say, I want to stay here.
He walked it back.
No, because somebody sat him down and talked to him. But he could have kept his stance, and then they'd have to get rid of him. There's no choice. There's nothing you could do. If he says he doesn't want to be there, you can't put him in your locker room. If you're a head coach, you know what you don't want is that in your locker room. One of your best players saying he doesn't want to be here. That will never, ever work. And everybody's asking about Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh.
Let's get right into it.
I'd be shocked if Mike Tomlin would bring Aaron Rodgers in his locker room.
So I posted that video of us talking on my podcast on Monday. You can hear Ian every Monday at 12:30 on the Jay Recher podcast. Like and subscribe. And I got some pushback from people on social media saying that there are teams out there that need a quarterback, with Pittsburgh being one of them.
Okay.
They just went with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year, and Russ did a decent job, man. He did.
I don't think Russell Wilson had a bad year.
No, I don't think so.
I really don't.
Really. People don't like Russell Wilson.
No, and listen, watch me. I picked Russell Wilson out of college to be the guy.
I remember that.
Okay. Ask me if I like him as a person.
Not huge.
I don't. Because I've talked to yes. Because I don't think he's a bad person. I also don't think he has any emotional intelligence. He's not a leader.
Who?
Russell Wilson.
Oh, Wilson. Okay.
Because when I hear Marshawn Lynch said he blocked him and didn't have his number, like I believe Tom Brady was even reachable to his teammates. I believe. I've never heard anybody say I don't have Tom Brady's number. So to me, I thought he did an okay job. Mike Tomlin is about team, okay? Aaron Rodgers, if I say team, out of all the players in the league, he's the last on the list. He's the last guy that I could think of as far as team goes. I don't see a team concept with Aaron Rodgers. I never did. He doesn't get along with his coaches, doesn't get along with his family. He doesn't get along with his former teammates, his teammates right now.
So you don't think the athletic ability of a guy that's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
But it's not that great anymore, though.
No, but that's my question. My question is that enough of the physical drop-off has occurred, so you don't believe that it's worth the squeeze at all?
If he could sling it like he did 5 years ago, he'll deal with it. But he can't. Watch the games. He just scored 10 points. You watch Jets games? They have talent. They got a nice running back. They got okay offensive line. They got okay wide receivers.
No, they got good.
They scored 10 points a game, and he's the quarterback.
But is it about that? Is it more about the reason why you don't think he's going to go to Pittsburgh? Is it more because his physical skills have deteriorated, or is it because of the malcontent he is as just part of the team?
Both.
What more, though? It's got to be one more.
No, the one would have to be more. One is more the if it was 5 years ago, I think Mike Tomlin would have said, this guy can just spin it. Let's bring him in here and we'll control him. Now there's a question whether you can spin it or not. So why would you want to control somebody who may be spinning it the right way or not? It just doesn't make sense. You almost better putting Russell Wilson back in there. Aaron Rodgers didn't play better than Russell Wilson last year to me. I didn't see it.
Hans, can you look up those numbers, Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson? Let's go through these teams. No Bills, Dolphins, not Patriots. They got Drake, not going back to the Jets. No Ravens, Bengals.
I don't see any team ready to win wanting to bring Aaron Rodgers in the locker room. To do what? Not going to strengthen that locker room. I can't even imagine it.
So you wouldn't take him as a team, like let's say a team like the Raiders.
No, absolutely not. They don't. If
Broncos?
you don't have a winning attitude in the locker room, I don't think he's the one to hit the switch. I just don't. Tom Brady's that guy, obviously. Stafford may be that guy, but Aaron Rodgers is not the guy. To me, he's never been the guy. Never been that guy.
So you wouldn't want him with the Bucs?
No. Baker Mayfield's 5 times better than Aaron Rodgers right now. 5 times.
2024 numbers. Russ? $16 to 5.
16-5.
Rodgers?
Same.
4,000 yards.
It's comparable. It's comparable.
Rodgers had a better statistical year. He was also asked to do different things.
Once again, it's about film for me.
Yeah,
like
no,
20,
I know. Not too much.
Yeah, and that's another statistic that you have to watch.
For them, I'm not trusting.
No, neither one of those guys are runners.
Yeah, I think it's more. I honestly, I know you said it's both. More of how he is in the locker room than the lack of physical skills. Because I think he will spin it a little bit, man. I think their offensive line, their whole situation there with the Jets was so screwed up because their offensive line still, they invested everything into it. They got the kid from Penn State. They got Vera Tucker. They lost Becton, right? So, like, they've been trying to find the right combination for a while there. They fired Robert Saleh. Then they made, they brought in his guy, Nathaniel Hackett, who is a terrible coach. For some reason, he's been a guy that was with Aaron Rodgers. When your claim to fame, and we see this a lot in football, Adam Gase kept getting job after job. Why? Worked a year with Peyton Manning in Denver.
I hate that. I hate that.
That happens a lot.
A lot.
It happens more in football than any other sport.
This guy created Baker Mayfield. No, he didn't. Baker Mayfield's in his 6th year in the NFL. Created himself. I didn't think Canales did anything personally. I mean, he called okay. That year that
you know what it was, what he needed, and I think was good, is that, and they said this, he's an optimist bully. He was a really good guy.
Okay.
And for Baker Mayfield, who needed to feel secure at a place, I think he was the right guy at the right time for Baker in that aspect.
Okay.
Because the running game didn't really adjust. Still trying to find the identity of the defense in Week 18. Didn't know jack squat about what to do to improve the offense. Didn't do anything when it came to pre-snap motions, and these guys, the Payne Durham coming around and blocking the hell out of the defensive tackle like we saw last year. Everybody kept telling us Payne Durham and Kate Otten and these guys can't block. They blocked their freaking ass off in 2024. So Dave Canales did not accentuate the strengths of those guys. But you tell me this a lot too. It's like, I'm not just looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the human being. I'm looking at how they, affect people around them. Dave Canales, even if it's just a small part, I think that was a positive for the Buccaneers because nobody says a bad thing about him as far as the personality.
Yeah, I'm not speaking against Canales, but what I hate to see somebody get credit for somebody else's success because Canales can help Baker Mayfield and his confidence, and I think he did that clearly. But he didn't make the reads for him, okay?
Right.
That's the hard part. You can give somebody the ultimate confidence. Hey, man, you're the toughest guy in the world. And if you go in this ring with John Jones, your confidence is squadooch. You heard me? So he has to go out there, make the reads, evade things, straight arm guys, do all this kind of things. To me, that wasn't Canales. I don't think it was Liam Cohen either. I think everybody's getting credit for Baker Mayfield turning into a pretty darn good quarterback.
Shout out to Joe Bucks fan, not much better than Ian Beckles lighting up and sharing knowledge. Okay,
lighting up what? What are we lighting up?
Come on, you already know. Hey, you knows with Joe Bucks fan, right? Hey, Beckles.
Hey, Beckles.
Hey, Beckles.
Ira.
Go, buddy.
Hey, Beckles, tell me what's going on over here, Beckles.
Give me the scoop,
Beckles. Are we any good, Beckles? Are we good?
Hey, Tommy, let me talk. Jay Bird. Hey, Jay Bird. The other day, a couple months ago, he's like, "Hey, Tommy, need to talk to you." Tom Brady, just. I'll be back, Ira.
Hey, Tommy.
I was pissed.
He didn't come back.
I was pissed. I was waiting outside.
He didn't come back.
I was with you, Ira. I was hoping. I was pulling for him. Shout out to Jay Break SF Ball. Recently pulled an Ian Beckles card out of a pack of 1991 Topps.
Oh, snap. They're worth 18.
It's Canadian.
And if I sign it, it's worth 16 cents.
Swedish.
Right?
I wanted to talk about Chris Godwin, too. It looks like he's going to return. He and the Buccaneers pushed the date back that they can come to an agreement. It just makes too much sense that he's going to come back. He's not going to sit here and try to break the bank. Seems like a guy. I had Greg Allman on the program today. Just seems like a guy that wants to do what Mike's doing, right? Play with the Buccaneers. He understands there's going to be a little buyer beware because of the injury, second season-ending injury, and the dead cap money for the Bucs is going to be $18 million anyway. Going to command around the same thing, if not $1 million or $2 more. I just think this is not a story. I just think Chris Godwin, it's inevitable he's going to be back.
Well, I think it's a story because of the unfortunate timing of it for Chris Godwin. Right at the time where he got hurt, I think the week before I was talking about how much he was paid. I'm like, he's gonna get right. He's gonna kill the bank. So the time where he got hurt obviously was disappointing in the timing part of it. But to me, this is more about his timing of what's happening in his career. What Chris Godwin is going to have to do now, because if you sign a 6-year contract this year, you're going to get your worth for an injured good player.
I don't think it's going to be that much.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll be 3 years.
Well, nobody wants to do that right now.
I think they will.
Well, or maybe you structure the contract to him, it's more of a 1-year type of deal, and you're betting on yourself. Okay, so if this year I make $15 million, next year I make 20, then I make 25, you're kind of betting on yourself. Right now, you're just not going to break the bank. You're not gonna.
He needs to.
Well, I mean, you don't get a chance to break the bank too often.
Well, you don't get a chance to break the bank if you have 2 season-ending injuries.
Correct.
So I don't know if that's ever going to be fruition, but
I'm not sure if he'll ever get paid again. I'm not sure he'll get paid after this. We don't know that.
3-year deal,
Yep.
$60 million, 20 per, in and out, and you're going.
Safe.
I think that's a good deal for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's
you get $60 more million. Right? I mean, that'll take you over $100 million for your career. I think it'd be all right. And then you go from there. But I have faith that he'll be back, and excited to Buccaneers have in store. The draft is right around the corner. Are you going to the Combine?
Nah. I went a couple of years ago. I don't think I need to go again.
No?
No, it was boring.
Really?
Oh, my God, it was boring.
That many guys
in
undershirts and short shorts?
It was boring, dude. I mean,
lie detector test. That was a lie.
No, I mean, I was up there falling asleep in the stands, and it was Indianapolis in February. It's cold. You know what? I'm good.
Sad story out of the NHL. It looked like Bobby Hull. They found out, his wife said, and a good friend of our pal, Phil Esposito, that he had CTE. And
How old was Bobby Hull?
Passed.
How old?
How old was he when he passed?
Yeah. Well, if you're in your 80s, I don't think you call it CTE. I think you call it old people.
I wonder if there's something to it where these hockey guys didn't have helmets back in the day.
Bro, if you're an athlete and you're in your 80s, watch me. Ain't good. I don't know what they want to call it, but if you're in a contact sport, have you ever seen a contact sport athlete in his 80s that was talking straight?
Or just like
they don't go together.
Running 5Ks.
They don't go together. They don't go together.
Just Phil. But even Phil.
Is he 80?
82.
What?
Yeah. Hanzo was there for his 80th birthday a couple years ago. Isn't his birthday coming up? Oh,
sharp as a tack too, and he's still witty.
You know what's funny? The other day I said, Phil, love to have. I'm like, Phil, you ever go on podcasts? He's like,
hell
F
no.
that, I'm not doing that. Oh, tomorrow's Phil's birthday.
Is it really?
Tomorrow is.
That's awesome.
Wow, I knew it was in February.
What's the date today?
February 19th. Oh, rest in peace.
Joan?
Joan? Beckles.
Joan? Hell.
What was her middle name?
Joan Natalie Doreen.
What a beautiful name. I just said really, like it wasn't.
Like really? How's that possible? How's that possible? How did you get turned out?
What was
like
your dad's
that?
first name?
Christopher.
Christopher Beckles.
Christopher Alfred.
I like that. Christopher Alfred. Don't lie, the lineage.
Yeah. Rest in peace for him as well.
Rest in peace. Fisherman extraordinaire.
He can fish now.
Fish now.
Fish now.
What about your brother? What's his name?
Linwood.
Linwood. First name.
Linwood first name, yes.
Linwood.
Lyn.
Lyn.
Lyn, like a pimp.
Wow. Where's he live?
He lives in the Kingston, Ontario area.
Oh, I thought you meant Kingston, Jamaica. Right by
the beach.
Boy, Mother Mercy.
He's chilling in Canada.
Really? When's the last time you saw him?
I was there last year. Like, years are funny for me now. Like, if you say last year, 4 years ago, they're kind of the same.
I'm with you.
Like, for real. And then
other side of 10.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah. I'm like,
less
that
than
was
10, later
that
than
was,
10. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's weird. I went fishing there. I went to visit him and his family, and I went
fishing?
fishing. No, salmon fishing out. So I saw him a couple years ago. So
I want to ask you about this before we get off here. There is now there's a beef between Matthew Tkachuk and Brandon Hagel after they fought. Hagel said Tuesday that his fight with Tkachuk off the opening faceoff was done for the flag and not the cameras. He called out JT Miller, Matthew, and Brady Tkachuk for pre-planning their fights against Canada via group chat. Hagel said, "We don't need to initiate anything. We don't have any group chats going on. We're going out there playing our game and giving it everything and doing it for our country. We're just going to play as hard as we can and do it for the flag on the chest." Matthew Tkachuk says, maybe their team doesn't like each other then if they don't have group chats. He said it tongue-in-cheek. Tkachuk says, that's just a player enjoying his opportunity. Our team does not care about anything that they say. There's been a lot of chatter and talk from individuals. We care about one thing in this room. We have millions of people that are watching us and supporting us around the country. Very prideful in playing for them, so it's an opportunity of a lifetime for us. So, listen, pre-planned or not, it was entertaining as all get out. There was a lot of people, that in a second. I want to mention that because you know this person.
You know why this is weirder than most competition?
Why?
Because these guys got to go back in the locker room with the same dudes.
Bro.
That's weird.
Matthew Tkachuk plays Saturday.
That's what I'm saying, though, bro.
Bro, he has a day off, and then he goes right back into the locker room with Sam Bennett, who just fought his little brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Jake Gensel plays with Braden Point Sunday at
you don't like nobody fought your little brother. You know what I'm saying? That's a tough one. Say,
don't be surprised if Sam Bennett gets traded.
That's what I'm saying, though. I don't have one.
So, when you look at this game, Canada, U.S., and we're not going to get into the minutia of X's and O's and stuff, but there's one thing with Matthew Tkachuk that he didn't play the other night. So, in the final round robin game against Sweden, they were asking him, what's the most important part of your team? And he goes, we're just such a just a together group. And you and I talk about how sometimes that could be kind of blown out of proportion. You're like, man, you're either good or you're not good. Like when teams aren't good, they don't have chemistry. It's a lazy argument. But for these guys, and Johnny Gaudreau, who passed, they have his jersey in the locker room after every game. The best player puts it on. They had his dad, Mike Modano, and Mike Ruzioni from the 1980 gold medal team at a dinner before. There is like a togetherness group of this U.S. I think they have to play like that, Ian, because they don't have the Connor McDavids and the Nathan McKinnons of the world. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a team that is more well-rounded and probably better skaters 1 to 18? Or would you rather have the other team where you probably have the 3 best players in the world on your team and pretty good throughout?
Well, I think when it's all said and done and you weigh it, it's not going to be that far.
No.
Okay? It's not. It's not. Because you might have greatness here, you might have well-roundedness here, but at the end of it, if this team is up here and this team is down here, then the team with the talent's going to win, okay? When you talk about chemistry is a word that's nobody's ever had chemistry when they're losing. Chemistry could take you above. Okay? Everybody's about the same. You say USA has chemistry, that might take them up to that's the little bit to where, come on, you guys are my brothers. When I played on some offensive lines where I didn't really know the people. I didn't know them personally. I didn't hang with them, and we weren't tight. We still played hard and everything, but it wasn't the same when I played next to Tony or Steve or Coop. Like the other guys, we just kind of were out there. When you're playing with your brothers, though, it's different. Playing with your brothers, like if something, like me and my boys back in the day, something went down, we kind of looked at each other and there was a look.
You didn't even say anything.
You didn't have to say nothing. So that's big. That's big in sports and in life.
It is. And funny you say that because my buddy Rob, who you met last year, remember my boy Rob?
Yeah.
Big Kava and Kratom guy now.
Is he really?
Stop drinking. Stop smoking.
Come on, Rob. Come on, Rob.
Shout out to my guy Rob. Rob actually got a metallic Phil Esposito 2025 card. He's like, hey, can you get Phil to sign this? And Rob's not going to, he wants it for Rob's parents. Rob's great-grandfather grew up in New Hampshire on the same block that the Espositos had a house in, which is crazy. So Espositos were always they were always big. He's like, sign me, yeah.
I hated Phil growing up.
Of course you would.
But that was respectful, like the
Respectfully,
Yankees. Like the Yankees.
So, Rob, you've affected him, man, because he came that one time, like years ago. And Rob came down and tried Kava or Kratom that was
the first time?
First time.
See, I love
and
those
now
success
he's all
stories.
about it, bro. Because in Long Island, I think Kava's legal on one side of the county and Kratom is on the other. It's kind of a weird law.
It is weird, yeah.
But he doesn't drink at all. He doesn't smoke anymore. And him and his girl, they are big, they're all about Kava, man. That's their
it's
thing.
amazing. Kratom is legal in Sarasota.
Wild,
so right down the way. We have a guy, Sylvester, that comes in. He's probably my age, African-American cat. Drinks, quite a bit of cognac, he said, okay? His words.
Is that the guy who comes by with his son?
Son, yeah.
Oh, what
Sylvester.
a great guy.
Nice dude.
What a nice man.
And he was like, his son goes, that was his thing, dude. It was like, and now he's just drinking Kava and Kratom. I think it's a pretty good alternative. Pretty darn
The reason
good
why I got into that, because Rob was our goalie growing up, and we were speaking about this the other night, is that in the game, Sidney Crosby was like jabbing at the goalie when the goalie had the puck covered, and Rob was our goalie, and I was a defenseman, and I just, every time that happened when we were growing up, I lost my shit.
Yeah.
And I would just slash people. I didn't care if I went to the box. You were not going to touch our goalie. Similar to what the offensive lineman does to the quarterback. You're not going to touch my quarterback. And, yeah, it's going to be a great game tomorrow night, and, we'll be here watching it at the Dignitary Cafe with our guys Shooter and the Stats. So make sure if you're looking for a place to go watch the game tomorrow night, check us out, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard, my man.
Not everybody is that guy. Some people like stuff like that. I think it's an innate thing. No doubt it's in me. Like, I don't know where it came from, but if something goes down, I'm the first one.
Right.
I don't know why that is. But I don't have the ability to step back and assess it. Like, I was the first one. If somebody's fighting on the football field, I'm the first. Like, Tony will hang out a little bit. He'll say, let me see what's going on over there and look at it. I got to go in it. I don't know why. I like a skirmish.
Funny that Wild Bill, when I played baseball with him down here in a men's league, Wild Bill hit a home run, and then they threw it at his head, and then he ran into the opposing dugout and tried to fight the whole team. I was the only person that ran in there with him. And both of his brothers were on the team.
And
neither one of them ran in there.
Oh.
So then I got Bill out of there, and they're like, "Oh, you're a pussy, blah, blah, blah." And I turn around, I go, "Whoa." They looked at me, and I said, "You can say a lot of things about this guy,
Obviously not pussy.
I said, that's not the word to call him.
That's true, man.
And then from that day, he goes, Bill, he like put his on. He goes, like, I learned a lot about you today. And I didn't think about it. He's like, I learned a lot about you. He's like, in our team. I'm like, thanks, bro. Like, but you're the only person that ran in the dugout. And I was like, it's instinctual, bro. I didn't think about it.
You're not supposed to. Because sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you're supposed to get, sometimes you got to get your ass kicked.
Sometimes you got to take a lick.
No, sometimes you got to catch an ass kicking, bro. I've caught ass kickings before.
Somebody out there.
But I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror.
Right.
If I didn't go and hang out, I mean, that's not going to work for me.
Before we end the show today, David Terry, who's been a big-time follower and listener of all the things that we're doing here on social media, on YouTube, lost a great captain today in the Tampa Bay community. Billy Nobles passed away.
Billy? I didn't know was he sick?
I don't know, but I know Billy Noble's a really good friend of our pal.
I like Billy a lot.
Captain Mike Anderson.
Oh, man, that sucks. That
Bill
sucks.
Animals.
I went to Costa Rica.
With him, right?
With Billy Nobles and Captain Mike.
Yeah.
Billy just a fun dude. That sucks.
Oh, all right. Because what's interesting, because I saw Captain Mike post something about brother or something like that. Maybe that was what it was.
Well, that's another dead name. Got a lot of dead names. I want to erase them.
Do it. No,
it's Karma. No.
Oh, last voicemail I have on my phone is from Frank Permui, the head baseball coach at Gaither, who was Kevin Cash's. Heart attack, Dave. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Nobles family. All right, you want to wrap it up? I'll wrap it up, but what do you got? Anything for the folks?
What's going on in Dignitary?
All night, hockey.
All night, come if you're a hockey fan, come watch hockey with us. We have a 10x6, that's feet, by the way, screen here in our back area. We are 420 friendly. It's a ritual. What do you mean? Come hang out at Dignitary Cafe, 4817 South of West Shore Boulevard. They're the best kava and kratom in the world, and it's been proven on the earth hundreds of times.
Kava shells. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Ian Beckles, at Jay Recher. Ian again joins me every Monday at 12:30 on the podcast. Subscribe on YouTube.
I like it because you don't like it. I like it. I like it.
All right, we love you guys. We
don't act like you ain't smoked before. Don't act like you ain't smoked before.
I started smoking before you and smoked longer than you. Yeah.
That's 35.
35. I was 11.
Hey, whoa, sorry.
I stopped.
You're the Joe Marijuana.
I'm an OG. I'm the OG of the OGs.
And you're waving off the weed. You don't look like an OG. You look like a bitch.
All right. We're going to end it right here.
Don't be mean.
Don't be mean.
Don't
be mean.
Don't
green.
be nasty.
Don't be nasty. Don't be nasty.
Is he gone? Love that guy. Manolo, the golfer guy.
Oh.
Don't be nasty.
Be nasty. He fell off.
Dude, he's funny, bro.
He's funny, but he fell off.
He did fall off. It was too much.
It was a lot. He oversaturated the market. Yeah, whatever. Way it goes. Ian Beckles, I'm Jay Recher. We'll see you next time right here on the Beckles and Recher podcast.